Antoine Semenyo is the hottest commodity in the Premier League right now, and the reason is simple. He is built for the modern game. In the next few minutes, I'll be breaking down just what he brings to the table, how the data places him amongst the league's best, and where his future may lie, and also even a backup option for those who miss out on his signature.
Semenyo! Semenyo again! Semenyo! Bournemouth in front against Manchester City!
So the standard facts right off the bat are that he's a 25-year-old 6'1" winger who's built like an absolute machine, but stating the obvious aside, Semenyo's on-pitch prowess comes from the fact that he is able to combine arguably two of the game's most crucial components, athleticism and technical ability. I mean, we've all seen it over the years, right? You get the genetic freak of an athlete who can move faster than the cheetah but ends up smashing the ball into row Z. Or you get the gifted genius of a footballer who looks like a lost child when it comes to the physical demands of top flight football. But that ain't him. If there's a phrase or term of the opposite of a one-trick pony, this is definitely it. Let's start with some basic numbers that most people want to know when discussing an attacker. Goals and assists. At the time of recording, Semenyo has directly been involved in 9 goals/assists from his 11 Premier League appearances in the 25-26 campaign. This places him amongst the league's top performers for goal contributions, in the mix with the likes of Haaland, 𝗦𝗶𝗴h, welbeck, even Brentford's 𝗕𝗫𝗓𝗍𝗏. Not only good company to be keeping name-wise, but all the more impressive when you note he isn't even a striker. With so much frightening pace, strength, agility, Semenyo is able to not only find his way into dangerous areas, 45 touches in the opposition box this season, he's then got the ability to get shots off, 23 so far this season, and create chance for his teammates, 8 so far this season. Overall, his attacking intent is relentless. However, the defining characteristic that separates him from pure attacking outlets is his elite defensive contribution. This is the metric that makes him so appealing to so many managers. Semenyo currently has 18 tackles this season. These are signs of exceptional work rate, especially coming from an attacker, and a key indicator of a player who is tactically aware enough to actively participate in a high-pressing system, forcing errors and creating immediate scoring opportunities. This defensive diligence is a non-negotiable trait for the top teams in the world. And with all that, if you add in his positional flexibility into the mix, he's pretty much gold dust. It means he can solve multiple squad issues for a Champions League club, offering immediate quality across the entire front line. He is the ultimate modern attacker. Quick, gifted, clinical, and committed to all phases of the game. For someone whose release clause means they'll be available for £65 million in January and a little bit less in the summer, he's looking like an absolute steal. And to truly appreciate why clubs are willing to meet that figure, we need to compare Semenyo's 25-26 per 90 data to other top Premier League wingers and attackers. The clearest Premier League comparisons that emerge from the data are Anthony Gordon and Jeremy Doku. Both are known for their direct running and work rate, and Semenyo matches their attacking output while often surpassing them defensively. His successful dribbles per 90 at 1.9 are more than Gordon and way less than Doku, whereas his combined defensive actions, tackles, interceptions, clearances and the like are way more than both, with 7.64 actions per 90 compared to Doku's 5.53 and Gordon's 4.66. The reason I think these stats are important is not only because it shows the level he's operating at, but also because other big clubs in the league who are interested in Semenyo, we'll come to them shortly, can see exactly what they don't have compared to their rivals. For this reason, I'd strike Newcastle and Man City off of the list because they have Gordon and Doku respectively performing similar roles. Although, let's be honest, in Man City's case, Guardiola's never afraid of having more than a few options, so maybe I won't rule it out totally. Whilst doing this research, actually, I came across another interesting metric in his aerial duels won, with an impressive 26 this season, putting him in the 94th percentile for attackers. Now that's a trait that can make him a unique threat from goal kicks, set pieces, loads of them this season, or when challenging in the box, and it's a dimension that players like Mo Salah, Bukayo Saka don't typically offer. Don't get me wrong, no winger is being signed for his aerial ability, the ones I mentioned before as well, Doku, Gordon, but hey, if that comes with the package, then sure, it's a nice added bonus. So with this high floor, high ceiling data being a huge reason why many clubs are circling, who should actually be going in for him?
That is pretty special from Antoine Semenyo.
So I've split this part of the video into 3 different options, and the first is Liverpool. Under Arne Slot, Liverpool's system demands wide forwards who are exceptional pressers and who are direct, aggressive runners. Semenyo's defensive metrics and tireless energy are tailor-made for these requirements. Also, they've got Champions League football, they can afford to spend the money, apparently, still, and are a clear and obvious step up in terms of club size and just general level, let's be honest. I do agree with some sentiments that they've already messed around too much with their squad and they need to get the best out of their summer signings first, but when a deal for a player like this comes around, I can't see them just sitting back and watching a rival pick up a player so easily. I've also seen arguments online that he could be a Salah replacement, but I'm not 100% convinced. I'd pitch him more as a left winger, not a right winger, and replacing the amount of goals that Salah brings to Liverpool is probably what Isak has been brought in for, so I don't think Semenyo fills in a like-for-like role. Best task Isak with that role, and 𝗘𝗫𝗧𝗏 as well, rather than putting it all on Semenyo. The second is Tottenham Hotspur, in what will definitely be an extraordinarily different experience to what Semenyo would be getting at Liverpool. At Spurs, Semenyo would almost stay as the big fish in a small pond, but a pond that could grow with him in it, if that sort of makes sense. To start, he'd be looked to as the instigator for a lot of good things that Spurs would do and would be required to bring everything right away. He'd move to a club where he would play the majority of the time at a higher level than Bournemouth in the Champions League and under another tactical coach in Thomas Frank. And what I mean by a growing pond is that if, and there's always an if with Spurs, they can get players back from injury like Maddison, Solanke, Kulusevski, start to get the best out of Kudus and Simmons, with exciting young players like 𝗘𝗫𝗧𝗏, all backed up by a good defence featuring Romero and Van de Ven, the potential for the team to grow and compete at a higher level is there. They just need to pull it all together. Like I said with Spurs, it's always a big if. As for some of the other options, basically you've got Premier League teams with Champions League football and money to offer, but Arsenal have signed Eze recently, still have Martinelli and are doing pretty good of late. Man City have Doku amongst other rotation options. Chelsea also have a wealth of options in that winger department, including the incoming Giovanni Quenda, about whom I made a video on, you can check that out here, as do Newcastle, who I don't think would spend that sort of money anyways, so that leaves me with one more option, Bournemouth. That's right, what if he stays? Now, the club's hierarchy have already publicly acknowledged the player's right to fulfill his dream. At 25, Semenyo is heading into the prime of his career, and the chance to compete for Champions League football and major trophies is the natural next step. Adding another layer of complexity is the financial ripple effect, whereby Bristol City, Semenyo's former club, reportedly hold a 20% sell-on clause on any profit Bournemouth make. What if he stays to see what he can achieve with Bournemouth this season? The last few years have seen Andoni Iraola transform the team into one that's capable of beating pretty much anybody on their day. Semenyo has of course been a big part of that, but they've got some really talented players alongside him too. If his desire is to play European football, who's to say they can't achieve a top 7 finish this season? Or maybe even win the FA Cup like Crystal Palace did and earn a spot in Europe that way. Of course, in the long run, and this is what you've got to consider when you look at Liverpool, even if they aren't in great form, or if Spurs aren't challenging for the Champions League, is that those other clubs can offer regular Champions League football more often than Bournemouth can. But does it need to be right now, mid-season, when they've got a good thing going? Maybe it's worth a quick thought at least. Quick side note, Bournemouth actually may be less inclined for this to happen, as his release clause does lower in the summer like I mentioned. So is it worth keeping him around to see what they can achieve in the meantime?
And Semenyo scores!
Finally, it brings me then to a replacement option for any clubs who miss out on him. There's a little bit of a Brucey bonus in this video. And the name? Kevin Schade. I think he's Brentford's answer to Semenyo. He's not as good, but a cheaper option with some potential that could be moulded in the right hands. He offers a high and wide direct threat in the attacking third, combines outstanding athleticism with a developing knack for goal contributions, and just overall is another exciting winger who should be on any given club's radar. So with all that said about Semenyo, let me know in the comments section where you think he will end up. And don't forget to hit subscribe while you're there. We've got plenty more interesting content coming up at FourFourTwo. Until the next video though, I'll see you later.